exactly.
Mute is off.
Are we on the Zoom?
You're on, yep, the Zoom.
All good to go? Okay. Call to order, first meeting of 2024, January 8th, 7:03. Somewhat short agenda, public comment, an update on the library landscape project, financial report, director's reports, minutes, and future agenda items. So that being said, we can move to public comment. Is there anyone online?
Nope. No.
Oh, okay, any public comment? Hearing none, we'll close public comment and we can move to item 3, the library landscape project update.
So with Cherry's permission, I'll
Yeah,
give the update as I know it.
sure, go ahead.
We've been in touch with Activitas, who sent out 4 draft, very draft sort of sketchy ideas, basically 4 somewhat layouts to handle the property ideas. And they were based on the feedback that they had received so far from us. At the same time, they were also launching the survey, the outdoor landscape survey, knowing full well that that's going to inform further design. They just wanted to show the committee some of the directions that they were going in. Since that time, they've received 256 responses, which is not bad. And they will remain open through this Friday. So they're going to take all the compilation from that data, and they will then incorporate what they can into the design, to the design elements. The working group, which is Cherry, Desiree, Andrea Hogan, I'm sorry, from the landscape committee, plus the town employees, so facilities, DPWs, Ben, Andrew, should be having a meeting. I believe it's tentatively scheduled for January 31st, be a Zoom meeting, to kind of see where everything has gone. That's 2 weeks or so after the end of the survey period. They will definitely have more than one proposal draft conceptual design to present to the landscape committee. This working group will kind of help them narrow it down from the wide 4 that they have to maybe 2, maybe 3 ideas. So it's going along. I think we kind of knew at the beginning that going into the holidays, we delayed a week here or a week there. So we're running a little bit behind where we hoped to be, but not far off schedule. We're still looking at February, March to have some information from the landscape committee as a group, which puts us at just over a year since the landscape committee was started. So it's not too bad. Mm-hmm. Anything else to add, Jerry?
I think that's pretty much it. We're sort of in limbo, waiting for the responses from the survey, and also, for everybody to sit down and look at the designs, the draft designs that have come in.
Yeah, the draft designs were good, and they were, I think, thought-provoking. It's sort of like, oh, well, I never really thought about that. Just kind of made you realize. So it was good. Are there any questions? If you have questions, obviously, Cherry or Cappy, you're welcome to feed your questions through Cherry or Cappy or me. If you'd like to bring any questions either to the working group or to the landscape committee in general.
On the survey, the 256, I mean, that sounds good, particularly after the kickoff meeting that was a little bit below that. Have we done surveys like this in the past? Is that like a good response rate, or do you know if you're getting a lot of close by neighbors?
Actually, I think that is a pretty good number. We've done several surveys, the service surveys and programming ones, so it tracks in terms of the amount of people filling it out.
I think there are places where we have done like our strategic plan survey.
And that one we really pushed
but that was a little bit different and a little, this we are sort of focusing on neighborhood and our current users. We're not necessarily I mean, we'd love to hear from people who don't use the library, but that's not necessarily our target audience at this moment.
Right. Any questions? Anything else? Right. Hearing none, we'll look forward to keep getting updates from the late January meeting and the other updates. Next is financial report, but also this last, is this something to be?
Well, yeah, we'll get to that.
Okay, so we'll go to the financial report next.
I'm going to insert that before the minutes. I just have a quick question. Megan, I know we have the bigger warrant going around. Did we have the second warrant?
Yes, a new invoice came in just recently for the DEI audit. So there's a second batch in the warrant to be signed.
To the left of Kathy.
It's in the yellow folder. Yeah, oh, we passed it.
Kept it separate so people would know.
Yes, to know, yeah. Yeah, and it's just that rounds out the library's commitment. It's not paying the whole invoice, it's paying a portion of the invoice, and it, the remainder of the opportunity consulting invoice will be paid through the town manager who has the grant funds. So we're closing off our portion and we're getting our check out on time. So that was the goal for that. So I just want to make sure you have your eye on that. I didn't really have anything outstanding to report for financials. We're midway through the year. We're roundabout where we would normally expect to be. There's no surprises as yet, on wood. Yeah, we had a nice month in December for gifts. Yeah, I think that's it. Questions about the financials or the warrants that are in front of you today? And there's also a credit card, P-card bill as well, so.
I have a quick question on software and licenses. I noticed we're running at 83% and we're about halfway through the year. So just remind me, is that typical? Do we front load a lot of that?
Front load the Noble invoice.
That's the big one, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, in fact, I think almost a lot of the big ones are all paid.
I think on the financial side, and since the last meeting, Amy did present to the select board, at least for the preliminary budget. Did a fine job and overview, and very few questions.
There were very few questions. The one question,
Notes.
yeah, the one question that was asked of every department was, were staffing issues, if there's any need for staffing. I think the only thing I referenced was that if the town, wanted to make a commitment to DEI, then it needs to be more than one person. Having an assistant, thinking about having a regular part-time assistant. But I don't know whether that stays in the library or goes elsewhere. I think it needs to be attached to that position, not necessarily to the library. So I think that was about the only question that we had. Okay. Report.
Yes, moving on to directors.
Thank you for your patience, by the way, in getting this, letting me get you this information today rather than last Thursday. I was not available last week. So, and the rest of the library staff are really excited to have a whole extra week to finish their monthly reports. I'm usually on the last day of the month, like, get me reports. But our usages are really great. We're seeing, you can see either from last month or from last year, we see increases in usage in a lot of things, including foot traffic. I'm still amazed at our programs. We had 57 in December, which is a lot. I will note, we are still missing the part for the exterior lockers. They ordered the part, they went to the wrong part. Now we're circling around through that again. But hopefully this is something that will get resolved closely. Ironically, this is about the time when you really want to be using. People just want to come by, grab their books and go away, or they want, it's dark and they just want to. So it would be nice to get it going. And, we had it in use for less than 10 months when it broke. So obviously this is something that we would really like to move forward with. Just this weekend, Evergreen installed a really significant upgrade. Noble installed a significant upgrade to Evergreen, which is our integrated library system, ILS. There were a couple of issues, very small ones. I think there's some patron issues today that they were able to resolve. Everything should be working. There'll be a few more things on the back end that some of our more techie people have noticed and they're working on solving. It's the first major upgrade that we've had. I think the last one was like 3.7, this was 3.10, so we skipped a few and knew that there were going to be a few bumps there. This is Noble-wide, so we are not the only ones affected by this. Youths on the Loose, as you know, is part of our strategic plan. We're working on different models for subscription box services for different groups. Last year, we did the Armchair Travelers. We did one in between on, we've had a couple different ones, but starting this January, we're doing Sleuths on the Loose, which is a subscription service based on mysteries. The list of to belong to the book club or subscription service got filled up very quickly. And there's actually now a wait list, and the wait list just means that you're on the second round. So once the books get returned, you get it. These are new, hot, and upcoming mystery titles. So it's for people who just kind of want to check out what the hottest, the latest and greatest is in a particular topic. Pleasant Street Center Book Club has traditionally, I think it used to be called Not Too Stuffy Book Club. It used to be called the Not Too Stuffy Book Club, and then it became the Pleasant Street Center because we wanted to sort of brand that it was based around the Pleasant Street Center. Space really isn't working out, and there have been some issues there, as you know. Town is looking for a new senior center. So after talking with folks from the PSC and talking with the staff here, it's going to relocate back to the library and will be rebranded as the Studio 64 Book Group. I think it's because they're meeting in the studio. And they're going to merge this group with our regular fiction RPL book group, very fancy name, RPL book group. These two groups will be sort of persuaded to kind of move together. So we're going to have a bigger fiction-based book group. It is targeting adults, and we anticipate a larger portion of the adults to be over 55. However, what that will do is free up some staff to develop a nonfiction book club, which is something we've had several requests for. It will also satisfy some diverse interests.
Will the Pleasant Street group have to meet in the evening, therefore?
That is, I think they're still working on that. It's possible that the book group will just run twice, but it will be the same books, and then, you know what I mean? So it's not as much work for the staff. You can have staff manage it.
I would guess that some of the people who go there would prefer not to drive in.
Yes, I believe it's been like 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. on Thursdays, which is the reason it wasn't here. So I think they're working on a different time and date. So there's a lot of rejiggering. Right now, the RPL book group is staying as it is. This is a tentative plan for the future, for the fall. So we're going to find a way. There's definitely a call to increase the types of meetup groups, book club groups, had requests for film discussion groups, things like that. The hardest part is getting the staffing to help facilitate it and make sure that we have appropriate people there. It is tough when you tell someone, by the way, you need to read these 12 books in the next 6 months so you can leave. And you don't get any extra time to do it. This is all your own personal time. So we need to find a way to make sure that we're facilitating the conversations or the discussions in a good way with someone who knows what.
How about having people do that who are on the outside, the way that it used to work with the.
With RPL book group. I think that's a model that we're looking at. Sherry's referring to, the RPL group used to be, basically everybody took a turn leading it. So you had to,
Chose your own book.
you got to choose your own book for the section. So, and actually that was a mix of nonfiction. As I recall, occasionally there was a nonfiction.
Once in a while, but I think probably 95% of it was fiction.
Fiction, yeah. So we definitely, the nonfiction requests have been around a lot of contemporary, cultural issues, social issues. There's also a group that's really interested in history. So there's a lot of interest for people to get together and around topics of interest for them. So yeah, I think that's a good model, Jerry, which is, we're just facilitating, not necessarily leading, so. We've had some great programs over the last month. You heard a preview last December. I was very excited to host Austin Prep. So we got a bunch of students from Austin Prep. We haven't done that in quite a while. Got some new library cards and some checkouts based on that. It's a group that's right here. We're not actually that far. And I wouldn't be surprised to start seeing a few more kids here in between their activities. Speaking to programs, we're halfway through FY24, and I just ran some statistics based on our monthly counts. And I don't know how we did this, but so far this year, we've had 341 programs. I don't really understand how we did that.
Awesome.
Yeah. Those are virtual as well as offsite, as well as,
A lot.
it's still a lot. So we're very, very active. And then in addition, we've had 26 passive activities and with a lot of interactions. We just sent out our January to June 2023 chronicles to be digitized and added. I asked Jocelyn to run us a couple statistics. We were able to determine just in the first 3 weeks of December that there were 80 users, and 74 of them were from the United States. I'm guessing the 3 from the United Kingdom were looking for Reading, England, maybe, maybe not. And then I think the others, you can never tell. It could be just through proxy server or whatever's through servers, but yeah, Canada. I guess it's supposed to be Czechia, Cayman Islands, and the Netherlands. 30 of them were from Reading, and the others kind of bounced in from other sites. These aren't surprising. It's just always fun to see that there are other people. We have researchers, coming from various places looking for information.
More
Oh, yeah.
people that don't have ad blockers.
Yeah, exactly, who aren't doing private browsing or anything like that. So they're only the ones that Google Analytics can pick up. So, Horizons. Would like to remind everybody, this coming Monday is the annual Martin Luther King Day program, Dr. Martin Luther King Day program. This really has been a community effort. It's something that was originally run by the Human Rights Advisory Committee, in cooperation with the schools, and the library started partnering. So it's a growing group. You can see what's going to be there. And tax season is here. So tax forms will be coming in, hopefully federal forms coming in next week. It's always a little iffy when we get the state forms. But the VITA group, VITA, through the Pleasant Street Center will be coming to the library on Wednesdays to do their by appointment only. You have to be over 55, and there are some income restrictions. But it's a service that we offered before COVID, stopped during COVID, but now we're able to offer it back here in the library. And registration will open for that in the middle of January. Just a couple of dates for you to remember. February 12th is our next general meeting, which will be a week's last. And then we'll have elections on March 5th. Whether you're elected or re-elected to the position, you must be sworn in on or before 7 p.m. on March 11th to attend and vote at the March 11th meeting. And if need be, we can invite Laura Jem to this meeting and she will swear you in. And if she has told me that she will come right over and make sure. That's our Laura, and she will do everything. Kudos to her for running a really, I just want to say too, there's nothing like, I think it was like in November, someone telling you, oh yeah, that thing you were going to do in April, you got to do it a month early.
Right.
And so there's a lot of logistics and papers and checking and everything that goes into that and getting volunteers and that. So we have a fantastic town clerk's office and, they really run excellent elections and it's just something to be proud of as a resident and a community member. I don't have much to report on personnel issues. We're still fully staffed. However, I just wanted to note that John Davis is retiring this month. Actually, next week is his last week. He has been with the town for 42 years. And he grew up in Reading. He's John A. to so many people. He is an institution in the town. He is an institution in this library. He doesn't technically work for the library. He works for the facilities department. But high Hosey ownership or guess or whatever of him. He's our John. So we're really going to feel his retirement keenly. They have, I believe I think it might be Jorge, I guess his last name escapes me right now, but one of the existing custodians is going to take over his position. Linda will continue to be a custodian here, and they've hired for a replacement custodian to help out at Town Hall. So again, these custodians work for facilities. They take care of Pleasant Street Center, Police Department, 2 fire departments, Town Hall, and they take care of this building. We usually have it dedicated to custodians to help out with. It takes a lot. He really has done, as you know, from this shoveling to painting to fixing things to hanging things to taping things to, he's very proud of this building and he's very proud of this library and that really shows through. So if you're available next Thursday, January 18th from 1 to 3, please come in. We're just having a little farewell open to the public. If you know people who have been past fans of the library and maybe they don't live here anymore, but you happen to know their email, please tell them. They will probably remember who he is. He's the type of guy that for the Reading Garden Club is here and stays extra on Sunday and sits all their chairs out for the memory tree and makes sure that everything gets done. He always goes above and beyond, so.
Gonna miss I'm pretty sure he's the one who does the salt.
Oh, yeah.
And because there's nobody who puts out as much de-icer as John does.
Yeah, no, they're very, again,
And I don't think anybody else will do it that way.
he really cares for the building and he really cares
Yes.
for us, and so,
I'm sure he knows it inside and out.
yeah. Yeah, lots of funny stories about him. He knows a lot about this town because, like I said, he's grown up here, so he's lived here. He remembers I've lived here 25 years. The house was built well before that, and he's like, oh, I remember that used to be a field, and the apple trees, and we'd throw them, and I don't know. So he just got story for everything. He really is great. I have some great continuing education going on. We're starting to get into conference season. We will see some more staff. I'm headed out to conferences this spring. And stay tuned for more information on that. So under the category of things the chair might not have known 48 hours in advance to be put onto the agenda item, is we received an email from the RMHS Interact Club. And they are working on a collection for the U.S. Army. I believe it's immediate.
I think January 22nd.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong, but it was very soon. It was,
January 22nd.
Okay, thank you, Megan. Thank you, Michelle.
Very busy.
Yeah, so they're doing, I believe it's the boxes and things. We've done something like this before, but we're just they're asking, and we're asking on their behalf for permission to set up a collection, for the library to be a collection spot for this program, to do these care packages for the soldiers. This is done, the US, it's the Reading, it's the Student Rotary Club at the high school, which is called the RMHS, R8, spelled that wrong. Reading Memorial High School, RMHS.
Thinking like, that doesn't.
That's okay, I'm sure they were typing fast. Yeah, so we're asking for permission to that, or a vote to allow that.
I move we permit the students to do this.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you.
Carries.
Is there another collection box?
There was something previously, but this was.
This is it,
I
okay.
mean, I don't know of any other.
Something else attached to this. It's to the. Okay, oh,
I could put donation box.
yeah, no, there was something. If I think of it, I will let you all know, but I think that was it. That's actually at 7:29, pretty much all I have. Yeah, for active things. And I guess if there's any other questions or anything before we get to 2 minutes and future agenda items, anything else? I have a few things under future agenda items.
No, I think this is, I mean, obviously the programming's fantastic. Those numbers are great. Nice to see Pleasant Street back here. I'm not going to take credit, but I did highlight the Chronicle link in my foundation letter.
Absolutely.
Had at least one person who read it and texted me that I'm going to check out this website. So I'm going to take credit for at least one of the 30.
Oh, great, great.
And it's good. Oh, on the dates and related to the election, just a reminder to the board, campaign finance requirements. So I think the year end is due by the end of the month. I don't actually know specifically, but I dropped off my form.
If it's zero, you just put in zero.
Just put in zero.
Yeah, you just have to physically file.
Right, but I do think we all need to do that, whether it's an elect
Oh, really? Okay.
and that year or not, is my understanding. So just thought I would put that out. Okay.
That's true. I guess you could be collecting
At time.
off here, yeah.
I think historically everyone's done it like every year, but it's always just the zero form. But I was at town hall, so I thought of it. So I thought I'd share it.
So we just do it there, right? Town hall.
And the forms are on the website. Okay. Anything else related to director's report, question, comments? Hearing none. Item 6, the approval of the December 11th, 2023 meeting minutes. I've reviewed and solid as always, very detailed.
I move to accept the minutes as reported.
Motion, if seconded, any questions, comments? Now to vote, all in favor? There we go. And lastly, future agenda items.
Okay, so I just have one quick thing. Thank you very much to the very brief work we did on the borrowing policy a month ago. Of course, we realized there's one sentence we still need to change. So I will be back in February with a single statement change and a very brief, it's really just more perfunctory, just to make sure that it goes on the record as we asked to change some words. So that will be on the February. We will do things by the book, so I'll have the change ready by February. You will wait and vote on it in March, and then we'll be going to effective at that point. And the other thing is, with the election coming up, I was going to ask the board and the chair to think about, for the March meeting, and we can discuss it at the February meeting with actual any activity happening in March or April, to go back to our liaisons. We should have a liaison to the Friends. We do have had, I work a lot with Monette when there are personnel issues, HR issues. You may want to have other liaisons. Normally we do have like a FinCom liaison here, but maybe you want to have someone work specifically with me and Michelle about finances or on some of those supplemental spending, big projects. You don't have to, just throwing it out there. And there may be other liaisons to either staff or to other groups in town that you may want to consider enacting because it's within your powers to do so. So that's just for the future, maybe to talk about briefly in February and then act on in March or April once we have the next board. Any issues? Any other things you've not talked about today that?
Just curious about, is exam cram going on this week?
No,
It's next week.
Aren't exams next week?
Oh, the exams are next week.
Yeah, exams start Tuesday, I think.
I think she does it.
the 19th, so it's the 17th, the 18th, and the 19th are when the exam cram are happening. And that goes with when they're.
It's during exam week.
It's during exam week, so it's, you can come here quietly, yeah.
Yep.
That's cramming is done last minute.
Yeah. Yes.
19th would be for the Monday's exams. Must be your makeups. Okay, all right. Good question.
You say the mural looks great.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Really nice.
Yeah, I hope to have more information by next February about the furnishings piece of it.
Has it been ordered and you're just waiting to get?
No, we didn't get the designs until like the 28th of December. We got the designs. Again, it's just like, this person was on vacation, they had to send it to this person, and they were on vacation, and then I was on vacation. So, yeah, we're a little behind on that. But I think it's all doable. The designs I saw were pretty close. It's just that we'd have to order it, and probably 3 months from that, hopefully. I don't think they have to order shelving from across the sea, I don't think this was like hopefully, it's mostly wood, so hopefully they can source that locally. Okay.
Anyone have anything else on the future items? Hearing none, does anyone have a motion?
Can I get,
Yes.
is it our, stay within then, about the breakfast?
Oh, yes, you can.
So the legislative breakfasts are happening, and I don't know if you've ever gone to them before. They usually do a legislative day. The Massachusetts Library Association usually does a legislative day. They're not going to be doing that this year. Instead, they're going to be focusing directly on the legislative breakfasts themselves because representatives are not all coming back to the State House as of yet. So this is much more dispersed.
Can you explain what the legislative breakfast is, purpose?
Its purpose is to highlight the legislative agenda for the following year, and they bring in legislators so that they can learn about what libraries are doing, and they go to the different libraries all across the state. And so I'm inviting you to attend one of the breakfasts. The one that's closest to us is going to be happening on Friday, February 9th at 8 o'clock at the Wilmington Memorial Library. And you are cordially invited. I know that there are a number of representatives attending. I don't have them on my list, but there will be some there.
What's the date again, Michelle?
It is Friday, February 9th at 8 o'clock.
This week, Michelle and Andrea are going back to the State House.
Yep. And Andrea is going to be speaking, doing speaking testimony for two different, thank you, bills, and they are for school libraries, and so she's going to be speaking to that, and I will be there representing Massachusetts Library Association.
They're in tandem or parallel to the same bills that were going out about public libraries. So a lot of it's intellectual freedom, book censorship, and things like that. So it's still an active issue. Some of those things would be discussed at the legislative breakfasts. It's really to help, I think that's one of the hot topics this year. Previous years, it's been budget. Budget seems okay right now, the state budget for libraries. So that's cooling down a bit, but the intellectual freedom issues, access issues, E-rate issues, things like internet access and filtering, those types of issues are kind of hot button topics right now. And it's really important that we educate legislators about the issues and why it's important to public libraries or school libraries. So it's, then school libraries do attend these legislative breakfasts, so it's also a good time to learn about the parallel issues. So it's just face time with the legislators to really be able to give them authoritative information.
Right. I did see most of the material I've seen come out has been tied to the schools and the intellectual freedom at the schools. But one thing that might be helpful is taking some of those MLA emails that kind of aggregate some of the materials, and maybe you just want to share it with the board, just so people have it for an information basis if they are able to go to a breakfast. Obviously, it's not something we need to email about or discuss, but it might be easier if you just send the resources and then each of us can review it at our leisure. That would be great.
I will do that. Thank you.
Always little issues until they're not.
Excellent. Anything else?
Now you can.
Motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn?
Motion?
Second.
If it's seconded, all in favor? There we go. Might be a record.
It is.
Meeting